Hello there, Aries. Welcome to your late November reading. I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling the oracle cards and let's get an idea what it is that you need to know in order to prepare for the latter half of November 2024. Venus enters Capricorn, and well, Venus can be often tied to romance, relationships. Like there's something very practical about reformatting your priorities so that you're way more attuned to your body and also just taking better care of yourself. At the base, we do got the card of grounded, grounding in a new reality, anchoring yourself in after I go to cut courage. It sounds like those who are in Aries, you guys are going to be asked to, in a lot of ways, go against what your lizard brain would normally succumb itself to. We got the card of gratitude, soulmate. It's not always about relationships, but sometimes it can be. We do have past life. Boundaries. There we go. Like Aries, it sounds like for the next few weeks, the reasons why you put up your boundaries towards others, towards soulmates, it's going to become very abundantly clear. And this isn't necessarily set up to haunt you. Um it's actually more so set up so that you can, in a lot of ways, remind yourself why you put up a boundary to people in the first place. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle and let's get some information on the card of gratitude because I feel for like the new moon. We got the new moon, or pardon me, full moon in Taurus coming up pretty quickly. And there's a feeling in here like, just being kind of grateful that you made the right call. I feel like a past version of yourself has been worried that maybe you made a rash decision. Maybe you had the wrong idea about something, but Knight of Wands, it can be considered to be a little bit impulsive. However, with the Chariot, you knew you needed to move forward. King of Coins, especially whatever this was that had to do with your personal sense of stability and taking care of yourself. Ten of Cups. Uh, this is actually really cool. Like, even though you're going into the mid part of this, like this calendar month, I feel like Aries, you have been really switching up your routine. You've been switching up where it is that you govern time. You've been way more within your flow. And it's a little bit scary because if you, a past version of you, if you were in flow with your energy level. So it's like you got the energy to cook a good meal, so you take advantage of it, or you find the energy to clean the apartment. You take advantage of it. You've been crafted and curated to behave certain ways. No, you can only clean during these times. No, you have to work during these times. And your reality has been going against your natural flow. And there's just been this sort of fuck it attitude where you've been able to start putting aside other people's expectations of you. And I feel, Aries, as though you're starting to reap the benefits of your, I'm hearing self-guided approach to your journey. What's the card of soulmates about? There we go. Two coins, like, we got a bear baby, and over here we got a baby bear. There's been a lot of confusion as to what a soulmate means to you, and a few of us have gotten caught up with this idea. Well, they're kind of helpless, and maybe they do need a little bit of help along the way. This is a habit that you've had where you've attracted soulmates that are helpless, but then they become way too dependent on you in order to overcompensate. So we got the card of the Empress, Nine of Wands. I'm really hearing you, standing your ground along with the Tower. whatever it is that you've been doing to continue to build up boundaries towards people who are dysregulated, those who have been roping you into their, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like, they're just trying to rope you into their bullshit. Can I just put it that way? There's something very cool as you've learned to, in a lot of ways, literally cool off your energy and realize I do not need to be dedicating myself to people who are way too mentally hyperactive. And there's a stillness that you have been embodying. What's kind of cool is you're being encouraged even now, continue powering through, being able to sort of sit within your energy. You've been powering forward, moving through all of the things, and it hasn't exactly wielded the results you were looking for. This Empress is a lot about self care, taking care of your body, and recognizing that if you have friends, relationship, family members who they lean still too much on you to overcompensate for them, it hasn't been as quote unquote bad recently with you choosing yourself. I feel like the soulmates that you've had to put a lid on that, put a boundary on it, you've gotten way better at feeling good about the decisions that you've made. There's a lot of confirmational synchronicities you're going to be getting over the next couple of weeks. Like, that brings us back to the gratitude. Sometimes I joke that you get shit-faced on tequila once every 5 years just to remind yourself, "Well, you don't get shit-faced on tequila." And I feel those of you who are identifying with this message, you've shocked yourself one too many times. At one point, you probably felt good about, "Oh, you know what? Like, I know what's, like, really, what's really ballsy." Doesn't matter if you're male, female, or non-binary. There's some aspect of you where you would intentionally hurt yourself just to prove how tough you are, and it's getting out of this habit where you intentionally shock yourself just for shock value. This has been very self-deprecating. I like that we do have Seven of Swords to talk about your past life. It's as though you've been responding more towards the shadow, what could happen to you, especially if you used to perceive yourself as a weak individual, because the only reason you'd go out of your way to prove yourself, to prove how tough you are, to prove how nice you are, to prove how even wealthy that you are. And I know some of you's like, wealthy, that's a cute word, berries. Wealth is a relative construct. I think we both can agree. Seven of Cups, Judgment. Whoa, got a mini headache going on. Two of Swords. There's this past life karma that you're going to be able to start seeing through, whether if this is something that you picked up from childhood or something that was threaded through time and space. I have been seeing images lately with the messages that I've been channeling about death and rebirth, but when we're born into the next incarnation, there's this invisible cord that follows us through generation after generation, and it's sort of like you've had like 7 generations of your ancestors just popping in and confusing you. And for those of you who were adopted, it was sort of this desire, if you just stopped associating with your family lineage, then maybe the curse could be broken. A few of you guys are going to start analyzing your family dynamic, whether if that is how family members were brought together, the reasons why they got involved with alliances with each other. And I mean this like marriage, I could say business alliances, but also even just trying to find safety within community. It's only been within the last 400 years society has had more openness and opportunity to move from city to city, state to state, province to province, country to country, language to language. Humanity as a whole continues to be more mobile, which means you come across people, they may or may not agree with your belief system, and sometimes That might be a little bit scary. A few of your ancestors have had to uproot and leave because their current situation was way too dangerous. They knew they had to take the leap of faith and move forward. And I suspect for you, there could be this inward feeling as though, oh no, the bad thing is happening again. And you were kind of hoping to break a family karma. This doesn't seem to be much about you specifically. This feels like a family curse that you have been trying to power through. Like, again, keep sticking your finger in the light socket, but you're only doing it for the sake of your ancestors. You aren't actually doing it for yourself. And you've had this lie as though you're being judged, as though your ancestors who went through hell and back in order to create a life for you, as though you're ungrateful. That's not coming from you. You've actually been picking that up from karmic relationships that you've been tied to. They have families that are struggling with abandonment issues, and it's not to say that your family doesn't. I get this opportunity for you to start recognizing what is actually your energy. What is your actual family karma? You don't need to have a genetic code to prove anything other than you have your intuition, you know you are ascending, you know that you know what you know. I feel like a few of you have second guessed, second fiddled your intuition. And some of that was because you were afraid to look at your shadow self, the part of you that was worried you might have been abandoning people or not really being there for them. But the people that you haven't quote unquote been there for, you're when you get when you're kinda tempted to re-enter back into that headspace, you're just being asked to pause for a moment and just ask, "Is this actually my business? Is this my wheelhouse? Is this something that is aligned with my divine purpose?" You have had a habit more than likely of being used by others, and, I'm shuffling here for the boundaries card, this new cycle that you will be entering into. Like the astrology is supportive, the divine is supportive, but part of it is because you were willing to put up the boundary that in order to protect your energy is becoming way easier. We got we got a 2 of wands, and I'm hearing you may feel duplicitous during this time. You may start noticing when you talk to other people or listen or go out into the world and do your whatever matrix thing that you do on a day-to-day basis. You're going to start seeing shadows of your previous self, or you're going to start noticing how people have this weird undertow. It is going to be important because I do see the card of judgment with past life to not let your judgmentality color your perception on what's going on. In some ways, judgmental energy is just to let you know that someone has a projection on them. Somebody has another individual judging them. Like now that you're getting better at not judging yourself, you're going to start seeing how other people do have projections onto them. And again, it's for you to observe, not for you to interfere, because that's what softened the boundaries and brought in a lot of toxic mindsets that you were once lost but now are found. Got the Hierophant. This is going to really apply for those of you who were brought up either in a religion or a belief system of what it means to be a good person in society. So, if you had a parent, it is a parent. Wow, there's some lame dad jokes going on here. We got the Magician, well as Knight of Swords. You're rewriting your own spiritual code, especially over the next couple of weeks. And what's really neat is that you're still being guided to continue to craft the narrative as to what it means to be the good person. But I feel as though you're going to be able to shift the narrative given that this Capricorn energy in context to not Virgo, pardon me, into Venus It's a little bit confusing at first because you have surrendered your will to others, all in the name of being good, being there for them. Why? Because you really hoped a good person would be there for you. And it's one of these realizations that you are the hero that you have been looking for. Okay, I'm gonna grab the moon witches and we'll get a final message from the divine. This reading is mostly set up so that you can feel confident about the decisions you have already made and to trust that going autopilot and allowing yourself to sit in your Empress energy, it is the right thing to do. You will still deal with mental conflict. And when that happens, you got to slow down. Try not to skip over what is happening. Write it down, feel into your emotions, depending on what space these feelings and thoughts could be welled up from. But this is all to help you anchor in your vision. Get clear on what it is that you want. I suspect for you guys, you've gotten way clearer with other people, the ones you've had to dismiss out of your life, that the boundary is warranted. That just because you push somebody away doesn't mean you don't care. It means you really do care about them and they need to figure it out on their own. You've been there for them, they've drained you, and you have only drained yourself and resented others because they weren't able to operate in this transactional energy. What do you want in your relationships? Create a vision for yourself. It's time for you to start getting clear with yourself on what it is you truly want out of your relationships, and you will be able to use this time frame in order to get clarity from the universe that you've done exactly the right thing for yourself. I'm just saying. Woo. Well, Aries, wherever it is that you are at, damn, I sincerely hope that this helped. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you like my style, please make sure to like the video on the way out. And if you're kind of curious about the next message, I highly recommend that you subscribe. And until I see you at the next one, I'm wishing you peace, love, and all the berries. Bye.